For those of you who have missed it, I have opened up my public email to my listeners. That way I can give a voice to any of the listeners on my channel and my morning updates if you feel that you do have valuable information to share with the community. Again, as I've mentioned, I don't believe that I should limit it to just the gurus, since I know a lot of you do your own research as well and might not have a platform to have your voice being heard. So if you would like to share articles that I haven't covered, intel, research-based opinions on RV-related subject matter, anything to do with the Iraqi dinar, other foreign currencies like Zim or the Dong, I will be pinning my email in the comments below. All right, and now to get started, I do have one of my listeners that emailed me and his name is Tony Smith. So Tony Smith says, my contact with the Dong has told me that the military is in charge of the Revalue kickoff. I'm involved with a guy who was a congressman and finance guy who decided to look into this whole Revalue thing. He found it very credible information that says, yes, it's true, but he only deals with the Dong, not Dinar. So that's my 2 cents worth, and we are waiting for the military to give the okay to start. Thank you so much, Tony, for your email, and I encourage anybody else who is a listener that does their own research to email me, and you can make it to my morning highlights. All right, moving on to regular morning highlights. First guru is Mountain Goat, who says, on the sidelines of the Davos Forum held in Switzerland last week, Iraqi Prime Minister al-Sudani and his accompanying delegation and Ali al-Alaq, governor of the central bank, continued to hold meetings, understandings, and negotiations with the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the president of the European Bank for Reconstruction, the American Bank, JP Morgan, and international financial institutions, with the aim of accelerating the procedures that, and I quote, it is implemented by the government in cooperation with the central bank towards achieving financial and banking reform. It is all very good news for us investors. Frank26 says it was a paradigm shift what happened in Davos. Investors at Davos, an acceleration of supply and demand to the IQD in an international float equals value added to the IQD basket. Militiaman says the fact remains that Iraq is filthy with wealth. They're filthy with their revenue streams. They're going to be filthy with employment. They're going to be doing a massive amount of stuff. When I say radical, it's true. Is there going to be a radical change in their currency? I believe so. When I talk about radical changes, they're happening. Pimpy article quote, UN staff on 1.5 billion Iraq aid project demanding bribes. Quote, whistleblowers allege large sums are being lost to corruption in Iraq. This is exactly one of the issues Iraq has to tackle, and we know they're working on it. All right, Mark Z via PDK question, what's the impact of Iraq joining the Bank of International Settlements? Mark Z says it's their acceptance and elevation to the World Trade Organization and all the other organizations that were removed from when they were sanctioned many years ago. These sanctions are quickly all going away, which means they will be able to reinstate or revalue their currency. It is just one more clear indicator of how close we are getting. All right, Paulette says the basket of currencies is what they intend to peg to instead of just pegging to one currency, the USD. This is what the CBI and the GOI has stated. If they are pegged to just one currency, if the value or purchasing power of that currency drops significantly, so does the value purchasing power of the IQD. If they are pegged to a basket of currencies, if one drops, the other keeps the IQD propped up. This is extremely important to Iraq as they are predominantly an import country. This is precisely what they stated years ago. Bottom line, the pegging to a basket is to maintain the purchasing power and stability of the currency and not a singular event to increase the IQD purchasing power. Frank26, Iraq Boots on the Ground report, Firefly Channel 1 TV, saying we just overtook and stopped the most dangerous and most corrupt organization that has ever stolen dinars. They stole over 1 trillion dinar. Individuals arrested and groups have been stopped. Frank says the money was recovered. This is the phase of the monetary reform right now to recover this type of money to be in position to float internationally. Claire article quote, Reconstruction, the year 2024 will witness the completion of 90% of the first package projects. Mark Z via PDK comment, we are expected to get notifications Friday morning. Mark Z says that is definitely the rumors running around. Let's see if it pans out or not. Sandy Ingram, the development road project is major. Let me explain why. This is going to change ports of call and the international shipping routes. The Suez Canal route is 6,400 miles, 14 days. It costs $4.5 billion per day. The development road project is only 745 miles. That means the costs drop dramatically if you put the shipment on trucks or rail. Once you get into the Mediterranean Sea, you can deliver your shipment to anywhere in Europe. That is the importance of this development road project. Caparoni says the dinar either rises gradually over time as Iraq's economy prospers, reducing the money supply, or Parliament will authorize, excuse me, the deletion of zeros, reducing trillions to billions and a lot. Not what we want to see. All right, Bruce via Wiser Now says we got word from several of our sources that came in last night and also today, and I think we've gone past the point of no return on this, so that even a few people that were pretty tight-lipped have been allowed to open up to my main source. They've been allowed to get the information from the banks and redemption centers, so that is really good to have that information fed down to me. One of our best sources said at midnight last night, we've been in this, and Monday night he said, within 24 to 36 hours, it could be Thursday, we will all be smiling from ear to ear. It should really be a wonderful week. Militiaman says revenue streams are increasing. They're promoting the private sector, which is going to create thousands and thousands of jobs. These 10 cities they're going to build, it's going to be a lot of construction. They're not going to do that at 1310. If it costs you 1310 dinars for every dollar for every screw, that might cost $1 a screw. Try to build a country with 1310, it's not going to happen. Frank 26, question what happens when there is a demand for a specific supply? Frank says it runs out quickly or it goes up in value quickly. The simplest thing, toilet paper became so valuable when COVID hit us. If I was Sudani, I'd give the lower dinars and the new exchange rate, and instantly the dinar goes into a basket with other currencies around the world to float. The definition of supply and demand is going to take that float to the rear, which is the real effective exchange rate. Question, how are they going to reach the rear? By supply and demand. And lastly, Mark Z via PDK says we keep getting positive news. Over the last 2 days in Iraq, I've seen about 4 articles pushing to remove the U.S. and about them executing their white papers or economic reforms and restoring their exchange rate. To me, restoring is to put it back the way it was, right? And restoring it back to its former glory when it was one of the most valuable currencies in the world. So to me, that would mean at least $3 plus. If you do the math, $3.22 in 1991 and adding in inflation would be a rate of around $7.25 today. Now, wouldn't that be something? Again, thanks to Tony Smith for sending in the email with his intel. And also, again, I'm encouraging any of my listeners, if they want to share articles that I haven't covered, intel or research-based opinions that are RV related to the subject matter with the Iraqi dinar and other foreign currencies like the Zim or Dong, etc. I will be providing my public email and pinning it to the comments at the bottom of the YouTube.